is Joe and Tom from Drunkards of the Sun.
Another funky funk, drunk episode coming to you courtesy of Drunkards of the Sun. And then your life's work could have been ahead of you. Tom and Joe from Drunkards of the Sun.
Join us every week on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify.
Yeah. Podcast that's about anything and everything under the sun.
Check it out.
Joe's drunk.
Yeah, we both are fucking drunk.
Stop it.
So,
Alright.
how about that Batman? Bad as fuck, wasn't
that
it?
Batman. The Batman, yeah, it was. It was bad as fuck.
It was the Batman, ladies and gentlemen.
It was, in my opinion, I struggle with saying this, but it was probably the best one I've seen.
I have no problem struggling with saying it. It was the best one I've ever seen. And there's many reasons why.
Yeah.
Is it my favorite now? It's very possibly. I want to rewatch it before I absolutely give it that stamp.
I mean, I've
But-
seen it twice. I think I can.
See, I can't yet. I want to give it another whirl, but I can give it the stamp just on the first time seeing it that it is the best Batman movie. And the reason I say it's the best Batman movie, because in my opinion, it was the best adaptation of Batman from book to screen.
Yes.
You know,
I agree.
and not only that, they did so much shit that you've never seen done before with the Batman.
Yes. I mean,
So much shit.
they've tried at it here and there, and they've played around with him being a detective.
But not like this.
Not like this. Not like this at all, because he's at crime scenes, he's taking video, he's watching, he's looking at evidence, he's cracking codes. You don't see any of that in previous Batman movies.
No.
And it's...
And that was one of the things, since you said that, not the crime solving aspect, but the aspect that he was at crime scenes.
Yeah.
I found that so fascinating and so comic book like, because he was like, Gordon's like, he's with me.
Exactly.
And Batman's fucking, and everyone's looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yes.
This guy's a fucking nut job. And I love that.
It was cool.
I thought it was so fucking cool. And I really, and Jeffrey Wright, he is hands down my favorite Commissioner Gordon.
It's close, but I think you're right.
With him and Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman
is right there.
They played it two different ways.
Yeah.
They played it two different ways, but it was just the mannerisms of Jeffrey that I love. Like the one part where he's like, "We gotta go, man. Come on."
Yeah.
It was like he knew, like he was like a down to earth fucking dude, not just a cop. You could tell he was a cop with a background in, you know, fucking in bad neighborhoods type shit. You know what I mean?
I agree. And I think you're right, though, because judging from how the dynamic was in the animated series, because that was really good.
Yeah, that was good too.
And I think he maybe played off of that a little bit, because he was more low-key than Oldman was.
Yes.
He was more low-key, and he's more, like, subdued than Gary. Like, and it came across more like Commissioner Gordon than I've known in the past. Now, I haven't encountered him a lot in the comic books, so I don't know.
He's like that. I mean, that's how he's just like that. Like, honestly, yeah, you're right. The animated series, Batman, and Jeffrey Wright's Batman, they were fucking... I can see the similarities now that you bring that up.
With
the relationship.
Yeah.
At least with the relationship. Now, what's funny with you saying Gary Oldman and Jeffrey Wright... That because essentially in Batman Begins and even Dark Knight, they're basically the same rank as they are.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because there's just like detectives.
Exactly, they haven't got promoted yet. Because in the Nolan trilogy, that one guy dies and then he gets promoted and shit, and then he's still not lieutenant. Is he lieutenant by the end of it? Or commissioner?
He's commissioner by the end of it because
he?
he becomes commissioner in Dark Knight when the Joker, because when they have Joker captive, the one dude who gets blown up in Dark Knight Rises, the mayor, he's like, "Welcome our new commissioner." That's when he gets promoted. So
but
a whole half of the movie plus a whole movie prior, he's like he was a lieutenant. I think he was a lieutenant. Yeah.
But
but in this one he was not LT because he had an LT. Because he was just remember
he's not commissioner.
He's not commissioner, but he wasn't the lieutenant either. Because the one dude, that fat dude.
Yes.
It was lieutenant.
He gets killed.
Yes.
The guy that gets killed.
Yeah.
Okay, so then he'd be lieutenant.
Right.
Basically, maybe.
I mean, if the promotion goes that way, I mean,
exactly.
You know how crooked Gotham is.
So in both first movies, Gordon is not commissioner yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. And that's cool. That's a cool similarity. I don't think this movie happens without the Nolan trilogies, though. I don't think it happens. Because it was the first dabble in, like, real Batman, the Nolan trilogy.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I always, funny thing, I always thought the 89 Batman was dabbled in reality. When I was growing up, I was like, this is so fucking real. He can really do this shit.
You kind of have a point, though.
Yeah, kind of, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I could say that because I don't know if I could say that because do you think that Batfleck couldn't happen without the
There's a
Nolan?
good chance. Here's a good possibility.
See, I don't think
it just depends on like what inspired certain people to want to do it. Now, I feel like this real Batman take that we're seeing now might not have happened without the Nolan trilogy. Maybe. Because Batman's a superhero. We've seen what Marvel does with superheroes. It's a superhero movie. These are like more... This was a crime movie. This,
in my opinion, was... One, it was a noir.
Yeah.
100%. But after that, it's a thriller, it's a suspense, and it's a fucking... And just with a little bit of action sprinkled on top.
Yeah.
And it's a crime mystery. It really was a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you knew who the guy was doing the crimes, but you couldn't pinpoint or know where his next crime was going. That's where the detectives came in. Yeah. And I found it fucking absolutely phenomenal. And the things that I loved, like, going back on things that they've never done with Batman.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I still can't get out of my mind, I love so fucking much, is when he's going towards the enemy and you don't see him, but you hear his footsteps, like doosh, doosh.
I like
doosh.
that.
I fucking love that.
I like that, but I think a lot of people might not like it.
I love it.
Because he's Batman, you can't hear him, he's hiding in the shadows.
Yeah, but he was making it known that he's coming.
Yeah.
That's what I found. That's what I
thought that was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Because he was silent when he needed to be.
Yeah.
And it's more like, just like the signal when he says it's a warning.
It's a warning, yeah.
He was just like, here I come, bitches.
Here I come. You don't know where I'm coming from. I'm coming. And I just found that, like, I just fucking loved it. It was so eerie. Every time they did it, I had goosebumps because I'm like, oh my God. It really hit me hard when he did it to the victim who had the fucking collar around his neck and was going to get blown up and shit.
Yeah.
And he was walking towards him like, that scene was just dope as fuck. Just, because the Riddler was like fucking, he's like, don't talk to him, talk to me! You know, type of shit on the phone. Yeah. I'm sitting there going, oh my God!
What really, like, when I watched it for the first time in the theaters, the first scene where he's taking out that gang that they're fucking with that guy initiating that
Joker
kid,
gang.
that right there, I could hardly breathe because I was like, holy shit, this is cool because they had that voiceover with him talking about choosing victims and shit, or, his targets.
And I found that really cool too.
I like that. I wanted more of that. I liked that voiceover, like his diary, what he was saying. I thought that was cool.
I did too.
And I thought it was very comic book like because you have those cells in comics where they're telling the story and just showing pictures.
Yeah, that's a big Frank Miller thing.
Yeah, and it was freaking awesome. I was like, this is so cool. And and it showed him writing a diary and shit about it.
Yeah, it was bad as fuck.
It was cool.
It was so cool. And I don't know why anybody would ever... One, I didn't question Pattinson becoming the Batman anyways, because I seen him in other movies and I really liked him in.
Yeah.
And I was like, he could do a good Batman. Most people are hung up on the Twilight shit.
And that's what it was. That's what it was.
And that's bullshit. Because he killed that fucking role. I think he was a really good emo Bruce Wayne.
He was.
And when I say emo, he was emo as fuck.
Yeah.
Like he was. And in my days, we used to call it gothic.
Yeah.
This is what the kids understand nowadays.
Yeah. Emo. Yeah, it's emo now.
He was emo as fuck. And I loved that, again, another aspect you didn't really see. You saw a little bit in the Nolan trilogy and Batman Begins, but you see it all throughout this movie was him not giving a fuck about being Bruce Wayne and only focusing on being the Batman.
In this one, you actually see it's consumed him. It's Batman.
Consumed him, yeah.
That's why he's nowhere. He's Batman.
Which it would. In your second year of doing this, you would be consumed.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the balance.
No.
He's new at Batman.
Yeah,
He doesn't have the... He's juggling this shit, and he's so focused right now. Shit's going down. Like, yeah.
If we didn't mention earlier, spoilers, motherfuckers. But right now, the movie's been out for what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
And I just saw today that it's already hit like 530 billion.
I don't know.
Million or billion?
It's probably
I think it was a million.
But that's huge.
That's fucking huge. That's already about to beat Batman Begins. And I was seeing that it was at that point. It's gonna if it keeps continuing, which it will, it's gonna beat out BVS and fucking one of the other Batman movies. I can't remember, but it's fucking phenomenal. It's so good. Andy Serkis, I love as Alfred. It was a different take on Alfred.
It was a different, but it was cool.
It was really cool.
What did you think about him being involved in solving the mysteries and the cracking the codes?
I loved it.
You thought it was cool?
I thought it was awesome, especially the scene when he's sitting there and he's cracking the code.
Exactly.
When he wakes up, he comes up, and he's cracking the code, and then he's like, "Well, the people are going to be here any minute, so whatever." And then they show up, and then a dude shows up, and he like slides the shit over top of the newspaper over top of the riddle.
Yeah.
I was like, "That is fucking cool. That is cool as fuck." And I thought it was cool, a little throwback to the '66 Batman. That he had not just Alfred, but the other maid there too.
I never knew about that.
Yeah, because in the '66 Batman, you had Alfred, and you had I can't remember her fucking name, but you had another woman who was like she was a nanny to Bruce and Dick. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I thought
that was cool.
I was like,
I did like that. What did you think about Wayne Manor? Because that was even different than any other Wayne Manor.
Beyond different. And again, I embraced and welcomed all the differences because I put it in perspective. The Wayne Manor in this one is located right downtown Gotham City. You're not outside the city. You're in the city. And if you were somebody who was a founding member of Gotham, you think your family would have started out there in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
And just built as they grew. And I think it's such a right under the thumb of your nose type deal.
Yeah.
Where everybody don't know where the fuck the Batman is, but he's there the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it is a great location for Batman.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
Like, what better place than right there where he's protecting?
Yeah.
Instead of driving from the country or wherever the fuck he's been.
Right.
You know? But the inside, though, like, even the inside look, it was, like, really crazy looking to me.
It looked crazy. It looked kind of Victorian.
Yeah, very. But it could have been Victorian.
Yeah.
Because who knows how long has Wayne Manor been there? How long has that skyscraper?
Since Gotham is Gotham.
Exactly. And that building there is probably just what it looked like.
Yeah.
It's been there for, 50 years? It's probably going to look crazy as fuck. So...
Well, longer than 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Gotham's an old city. They just built it in 50 years.
No, I'm just saying, like, the skyscraper where Bruce and everybody lives.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how long it's been there.
Yeah,
Because I don't think back in the 1800s they would have had a skyscraper.
They would have built on top of it.
Yeah.
Well,
Who knows what level that... Well, it probably was pretty high up.
It was tall as fuck. It was tall as fuck. I thought that was a cool concept. And then another new thing that they did that I fucking enjoyed a lot. I'm going to suck the dick out of this movie. Like, the Batcom is going to go all over
it deserves it.
It does deserve it.
Any haters out there can suck a dick. Because this was the best part.
In my opinion, any haters out there, you're just hating to be hating at this point.
And I think maybe it goes back to maybe the haters don't really know the actual story. Like, they don't know the comics. They don't know.
They just know the movies. I mean, that's with a lot of people that do. They just know the movies. But again, back to what I was saying. The interesting new thing that they did with him was he had the bat suit in his backpack.
Exactly.
He was traveling
around.
He was traveling around incognito. Nobody knew.
Yeah, exactly. Looking for
shit. Like when he was the peeping Tom spying on Catwoman, he had no batsuit on. I was like, he's just a normal dude, right? Mm-hmm. And then it was so cool. And then when he followed her, and then he's like, well, she looked upset at your apartment, and she's just like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Oh my god, it was so fucking good.
That was a great element. Another thing I liked that we haven't seen up until this movie is you saw Batman's eye makeup.
Yes.
They always take it off.
Yes.
Every time he takes his mask off, he's got clean eyes. Why? You see he has makeup on.
Right. Right, and they did it.
Exactly. And he looked cool. Like, taking it off, it looked great.
I mean, the most ridiculous of that Joe's talking about is go rewatch Batman Returns. He takes off his mask, and it's gone. It's like, what happened?
There's like a very split second that you see it's gone, too, when he goes.
So as a kid, I always wondered where he got that wonderful toy. Like, where did he get that at? But yeah, that was fucking unique and fascinating, too.
What I liked about that, though, as well, going back to the crime scene and all that shit, I loved the contact idea with taking pictures and video. That was fucking amazing.
That was amazing.
I thought that was cool. It was perfect.
It was perfect. The back and forth banter.
Yeah, exactly.
Was cool as fuck.
And it was just like, when he would go and rewatch what he saw at the night, I thought it was a perfect way that he would do it.
Yeah.
Like, the technology.
And his reasoning for it
Mm-hmm.
was cool as fuck because he said, "I got to remember this. I have to rewatch this." So I'm like, basically, he's watching it as a third person now.
Yeah.
Not being there now, he's
Yeah.
watching it.
Yeah.
That's Batman, dude. Because that's someone who's obsessive compulsive, and that's who Batman is. You know, he's an obsessive motherfucker. That was so fucking cool. But there was a couple times I got confused, and the reason I say that was because they went from one thing and jumped right to the next. The editing was real fast a couple times. Like for one, when it showed Riddler had this hostage, and he had this fucking mouse trap on this motherfucker,
Yes. Yeah.
and it looked like what I thought was the chick that Catwoman was going for. It looked like that person. So I thought at first that was her. And then when like Catwoman was like, "Man, whatever," I'm like, "You don't give a fuck about this?" But it came to find out it was the cop.
The cop.
It was the other cop.
When you rewatch it, you'll see it better.
Right, because you catch on when they're in the morgue, and they're like, "Oh, that's my partner," and blah 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 blah, and he starts talking about him, and then they show the fucking rat, the rat cage, and I'm like, "Oh, he's the cop."
But even in the video, if you rewatch
Yeah.
it, you'll notice more that it's the dude, not the chick.
Yeah, see, that confused me just for a split second. Again, like I said, a split
Just
second.
yeah, in a little bit.
It was just because at first I'm like, "Oh, that's unique," but then I was like, "Oh," and then I'm like, "Wait a minute, what are they talking about the cop?" And I'm like, "Oh,
It was
the
him.
cop was in the fucking
That
video."
was him. Now, I've heard a lot of flack about the Riddler and his jokes. Not his jokes, his riddles. He's the
Well,
Riddler.
I've heard some people say they're real simple.
Yeah, real simple.
I didn't solve them, so to me they're
But
not
we
simple.
didn't need to solve them either because Batman was solving them. But that's another thing that I like. Year 2, Batman. He's not the greatest detective yet
Right,
because he does miss things.
right.
And that was a cool take that I liked because he essentially does like basically fall into Riddler's trap.
Yeah.
And if that's not smart on the Riddler's part, like, it's got to be smart.
Yeah.
But I thought his riddles were alright.
I thought they were
I didn't
cool.
have anything.
I didn't
wrong
either.
with them.
I didn't have a problem with them, especially one, I didn't figure them out before the Batman, and then two, they were fitting for how it
Yeah,
went.
exactly.
Like I had no hang up with that.
And I think maybe they were all hung up with the scene with the bomb and the guy in the car.
See, I thought
He was just basically just questions for him to answer
Yeah.
to expose what was going on. They
Right.
weren't necessarily riddles.
Right.
They were kind of,
yeah.
but
It was they were riddles for the guy to tell the truth
yeah, about
and
what was
about
going
really
on.
what was happening.
Yeah.
And the guy knew the answers and knew he couldn't say the answers.
Exactly. That's why he died.
And that was cool as fuck. And I thought it was cool as fuck, like when it showed, because the bomb kind of like startled me. I'm not gonna lie. When it went off, I didn't expect it to go off. I'm like, oh shit, it went off.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene that happens, I thought was cool
Oh,
as fuck. When Batman
yes.
wakes up surrounded by cops.
Exactly.
And in his days of coming to, he's like, who the fuck? He's like,
Yeah.
he's like knocking cops out.
Yeah.
He's like, ta 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 ta.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking awesome.
And then Commissioner Gordon orchestrates his escape.
Yes.
Because that was cool.
Yes,
That
and then
was cool.
afterwards, it's like, damn, man, you could have pulled that punch. He's like, I did.
Exactly.
And that's another thing, too, that they strode away from. Batman did not use a growly voice. He used, like, he went, like, little quieter, but he wasn't growling.
He didn't growl, but
He didn't really
still
change his
changed-
voice.
He did a little bit.
Slightly, very, very slightly.
But then again, this is a Bruce Wayne that's been hidden from the public
Right.
for years.
Right.
So nobody really knows what he sounds like.
Mhm.
So, and the people that he does interact with as Batman, and he doesn't really interact with anybody as Batman and as Bruce Wayne.
No, I mean, he does at the party.
Yeah.
When he goes to the party and talks to the mayor running, the running mayor.
Yeah.
And then, like, he talks, but, and this is another thing that a lot of people I heard had a hang up about was, it wasn't enough Bruce Wayne, it was more Batman. I love that. I said,
Called the Batman.
The Batman. And it's 3 hours of Batman.
Exactly.
Give me Batman. Like, that was my big problem with, I love 89 Batman. That's one of my favorite Batmans today.
Exactly.
But in costume, Batman was in it probably 15 minutes of an hour and a half.
and then it was even worse in Returns.
He was maybe in it 5 minutes.
Yeah, and he was hardly Batman at all.
Hardly at all. And I was like, well, I want more Batman.
Exactly.
So this delivered. If I could go back and tell my 10-year-old self, don't worry, you're going to get 3 hours of this shit with him just in suit, whooping ass, solving crimes. It's going to be amazing. Like, I had to wait fucking 20-some years. No, 30 fucking years. But
It happened.
it worked.
But
It's
it was.
awesome.
I think it was worth the payoff. I mean, it takes that long to make such a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't in the works for 30 years. It was only written in 2 years or some shit. But still,
It was amazing.
it was amazing.
Now,
What did you think about the Batmobile?
Batmobile was bad as fuck.
Yeah.
Bad as fuck.
It's
dude.
probably my second favorite now. It's probably my second.
See,
Next to Keaton's.
well, Keaton's is always my number one.
Because it looks like it looks like the comic.
It does.
The Tumblr's close.
I love the Tumbler too. See, the Tumbler and this new one, in my eyes, they're neck and neck. Because in me, my favorites still go Keaton, Adam West, and then probably now Tumbler and this one. Because they're both bad as fuck.
They are.
And the new one, this new one just looked mean. It just looked like, and it sounded mean. It looked like I'm gonna plow through you. Whereas like the fucking Tumbler was tactical as fuck. You're like, oh shit, ain't no one blowing this tank up,
Exactly.
right? But this one's like, oh, you can blow this thing up, but it's gonna fuck you up before it does.
Yeah.
Like it was bad as fuck.
It was great.
I highly enjoyed it.
I loved it, and I like that he used the bike in the thing.
Yeah.
It was good.
He used the car only when he needed it.
Yeah, only when he needed it, chasing down the penguin or whatever.
Yeah, and talk about the Penguin. Holy shit. Colin Farrell fucking murdered it. He fucking murdered it. I loved the Penguin so much in this. One, because he was a gangster.
He was.
He was a gangster as fuck.
Yeah.
And he had a little waddle from what looked like maybe he hurt, like an old wound in his leg, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all you needed. And he had his little fucked up nose, a little fatter. But I was like...
You can't even tell it's him.
You cannot tell.
If you did not know it was him, you would never know.
You never know. Because he didn't sound like Colin Farrell.
No.
He sure as fuck didn't look like Colin
voice,
Farrell.
I watched an interview with him after I watched it. I was like, how the fuck is he doing this voice?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound anything.
No,
because
he's Scottish as fuck.
You couldn't even guess.
You can't.
He sounds New York as shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I fucking loved it. Like, to me, I was like, give me more Penguin. I was like, it was so cool. And he's getting his own show.
Yeah, he is.
So I'm like, yes, I'm getting more Penguin.
Because that was going to be in part 2. But they decided to make it a HBO Max series instead of being in part 2.
Yeah.
So, like, we're going to see the Penguin. He's going to be in the next movie. He's climbing the ranks.
Yeah.
Now
Falcone's dead.
Yep.
Falcone's dead. And I thought that was an interesting twist that I did not see coming. I didn't know that Falcone was in this fucking movie. I was like, oh shit. And then they threw out Maroney's name a couple times. I'm like, oh shit. Where's Harvey Dent? You know what I mean? It's fucking. He's coming probably. Give me 6 hours of this shit.
I hope that they establish more of a connection with Bruce and Harvey if he shows up.
I do too. I hope they go back like childhood friends.
Like, oh shit, hey, you're back.
It'll be cool. I kind of hope like in part 2 they bring out. If it don't happen in part 2, I'd like to happen if they do make a trilogy in part 3. The Court of Owls. Court of Owls, I want to see. Because that would be dope as fuck.
Have you read anything about what Pattinson has said?
No.
Because he's already called it out and been like, I would think it'd be cool that the next movie would be the Court of Owls.
See, I think they should have that for the third one, just because you get a little bit more build up.
It would tie into the whole concept of this first one.
Well, it would, but that's why you put something in the middle to tie it a little bit. But the third one would be like 5 or 6 years into his career. So now he's just now finding out that Gotham's been pulled strings, like especially he would be established by the time the Court of Owls come. Yeah. I think it's more conflicting when he's established and feels like he's making a difference in the city, and then come to find out that he's not, because fucking the Court of Owls is still pulling strings on every motherfucker. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because it would really fit into the whole thing of
with the Waynes.
Even the crime behind people running the city, and it's not the mayor, everything that this first movie was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it would really tie into that.
Yeah.
And I would love to see it.
I would love to see it, too.
It would be a great new villain. I mean, they're very new in the stories. So, like...
Yeah, they only came out in New 52.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not very old. I think that's maybe 10 years old now.
Yeah, it's not very old at all. So it's like a newer villain in the Batman saga. Yeah. So I think that'd be cool, and it'd fit in the realistic Batman that they're making.
Yeah.
Now, for a second sequel, what would you think? Who would be it?
I mean, Penguin, you got to put him in, but I think the Penguin, if he was in the second movie,
he's the same role.
Exactly.
I don't see him being
I see him being a little bit more higher in the ranks. Yeah. But being like the side character
Because
that
he's still-
Batman goes and gets information from.
Because he's still gonna have that fucking bar.
Yeah,
that
the Iceberg Lounge.
Yeah.
And that was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, the Iceberg Lounge, that's his comic hideout. Like,
Exactly.
fuck yeah. So, no, I like to see him, but if they have another villain, I mean, me personally, I want to see Clayface in the movie, even though I don't know if you could do it realistically. You could.
I think they could.
You could, but it'd be, I think...
It wouldn't be what the comics were.
Right. It would be some guy who actually is a makeup artist.
Yeah.
You could do like
an
a...
actor.
Or Hush. You could have Hush in it. Hush would be cool.
Well, what was Hush? I don't
Hush
know.
was Thomas Elliot, which was Bruce Wayne's childhood friend, who ended up killing his parents so he could get all the fucking money. And fucking he ends up he's just a fucking he killed his parents. The Waynes and the Elliots were like best friends type shit. And fucking he ends up killing and then fucking he's just doing all kinds of shit to Batman. He's a wild character, but he's got ties to Bruce. He's got ties to the Waynes.
Yeah.
So you could have him in that. You know, fucking.
I think Clayface would be a good one.
Clayface. I just want to see him in a movie. I think he would just be bad as fuck.
I think it would be
what
cool.
I don't want to see, and they hinted at the end of the
Right,
fucking
exactly.
movie, was Joker. They had the Joker in it again. I get it. It's a fan favorite. He's my favorite Batman villain. Not gonna lie. But at the same time, I want to
It's
see
very
someone new.
oversaturated
Right now, it's oversaturated.
Yeah.
I want it to go at least fucking 10 years without Joker.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. I want to see...
At least the main antagonist.
I mean, fuck, we haven't had the Riddler in a movie since 95.
Yeah.
So it's been 15 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give Joker some time, chill the fuck out. You know, ventriloquist would be cool as fuck to see.
Yeah.
Mad Hatter would be cool as fuck. And both of those characters you could do realistically.
We could. You could, definitely. You could even bring Roz back for this next one. Because you did the whole underworld shit
You could.
type thing.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I just want to see more different characters.
Different characters than what we've had.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see Riddler kick it off.
It was nice to see Riddler. And it was crazy that you never saw Paul Dano's face up until the end of the
Until
movie.
he got apprehended. And it was like 30 minutes. Now, I read a review that was like, Riddler gets captured halfway through the movie. No
No,
he
it's
gets
the end.
captured 30 minutes before the end.
Yeah, and that's where I think they should have ended it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the dam blowing up, like if they were going to do that, I think
Didn't
they should
just
have.
have it blow up.
I think if they were going to do that, I think he should have blown it up as he was apprehending Riddler, and then Riddler got away, and then you go finish him and then put him back in Arkham or whatever. But it just felt like it was a whole nother movie at that point because he got real action.
Yeah.
Like it was actiony as fuck for that last fucking half hour. It was nothing but action.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I have no problem against action.
Yeah.
But that was not the precedent for this movie.
Yeah.
And throughout the movie, the precedent was not bang bang shoot 'em up pow pow shit. It was fucking use your mind. What the fuck is happening now? What the fuck is going on? So like I get it, but if they would have done it, I think they should have done it sooner than when they did. Or just cut it out completely. Because me personally, I think that the movie would have been fine ending right there with him capturing Riddler, skip to him and Catwoman at the cemetery, and that's the movie. You know what I mean? Like,
That would have been it would have still been a great ending.
would have been perfect.
But then you have the drama of Batman saving everybody in the fucking place.
And then when he was like he was helping the National Guard save people, I thought that was really cool.
That was cool.
Because it's like, it's Batman. He's helping the people.
And it showed, like, him changing his way.
Yeah.
The way, his way may not have been the right way to do it.
Right.
Because that one guy saying that he was vengeance was
right.
like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I'm one of these guys.
Yeah. Even though he's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though he's not.
But it impacted Batman to be like, maybe I should not try to murder people.
I mean, but he never murdered
He
anybody.
beat the fuck
He
out
beats
of
the living piss out of him. But he does that in the books.
Exactly.
You know, he's willing to. He will break every bone in your body,
I've heard,
but he won't kill you.
I've heard a lot of people bitch about how slow Bale's Batman and this Batman are at fighting, and they say that.
See, I think that's crap.
The Ben Affleck Batman was, but Ben Affleck's
Well,
Batman was probably CGI because he was like flying around like fucking Arkham.
I think it was a stuntman. I think it was a stuntman on wires. They probably had him wires and stuntman. Because I'm pretty sure it was a real dude. But the thing now, see the difference. There's two different fightings here. The Affleck fighting is totally different from the Nolan, Bale, and Pattinson.
Right.
Because Pattinson and Bale was like realistic fighting.
Exactly.
Whereas Batfleck was like straight out of the comics.
Exactly, and I think that's why people like it more, because it's more like.
But to me, I liked both of them. Don't have a problem. Like, when you bitch about the way a guy fights, like, the fuck out of here with that shit. You know what I mean? Because one, fuck out of here with that shit.
Watch Michael Keaton in the original.
Yeah, he throws like 2 punches through the whole fucking movie. He does this, and he does this.
He kicked somebody.
Then he kicks someone in the face. But fucking,
if we're gonna complain about
that. And I still love that movie. But I just don't get it. I just don't get why people have to cherry pick shit like that. Because why can people not see the positive? I mean, granted, if you watch Justice League, the Whedon cut, there's a lot to bitch about there. How about people bitch about that?
Everybody did. That's why they made a new one.
I know. But nonetheless, like, you're comparing, and when you compare Batman's fighting style from movie to movie, I think you're comparing apples to oranges. I don't think you compare apples to apples, because all 3 of those movies, BVS, Dark Knight, and fucking...
It's a different Batman.
It's a different Batman, different style, everything. In fact, if anything you can complain about from the Nolan Batmans is in Batman Begins, and I know why they did it, and it was cool as fuck when they did it, but he fights, but you really don't see him fight.
Yeah.
Because, like,
real tight
it's real tight, and you just see, like, fucking, like, basically hand movements, and when it's out, it's real fast, and it cuts back in real tight.
Yeah.
So you really don't see him fight a lot in that fucking movie. But it's cool looking.
It is cool looking.
I think it's cool.
It was good. It was well done.
I just don't have a problem with it, because I think, one, I don't think Pattinson was slow at all.
I don't think so.
Like, he was just like, and the way he was doing his movements, like, it was no wasted movement.
I also appreciate how many bullets he took.
Oh, he took a shit. How one didn't get here is beyond me.
I know, right?
Because I think one hit him here. He's like, tank.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
I think he did.
Yeah, but that fight scene when he's coming through and they got the machine guns, he's fucking
And the
them
lights
up.
are fucking going on and on. That was bad as fuck.
Yeah.
That was dope.
They had a lot of great scenes in that. A lot of.
I think it was. I just think it was really fucking well done.
It was well done.
And like
it's
I said,
gonna be hard to beat.
I mean, like
the second one could fail because this one is so good. The second one.
Now if you do
fail.
it just like it.
Well, you got to do it just like it then, because the second one.
And when I say just like it, I don't copycat it. Yeah. I'm saying, like, make them have crimes. You got to solve the fucking crimes. Make it a thriller. Make it a suspense again.
Yeah.
Make it dark and noirish. You know.
Because it was unlike. It was like, but it was still unlike any Batman we've had.
Yeah, to me it was unlike any Batman.
Style to just Batman solving crimes.
Yeah, that and like I said, the only qualms I had was really, like, you could have cut the last 3 minutes out or tightened it up a little bit, and I didn't like, "You're not my dad, Alfred," like that part.
What did you think about that?
I thought that was kind of
We didn't talk about the Waynes, the situation.
At first I was pissed. Because it was another instance where I felt like they were making the Waynes to be bad guys.
Because I thought you would have a qualm with that because of the Joker movie, how they portrayed Waynes.
Right, and I did have a problem at first, but the farther it goes, it shows that the Waynes really weren't bad. Thomas Wayne made a mistake.
Yeah.
And he died for trying to rectify that mistake.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, you saved me. Okay. It was a saving grace, because at first it's like, the Waynes were involved in crime too. Exactly. And they're like, no! But then it came to find out, especially through Alfred, and then you're like, oh, Alfred's just bullshitting him.
Yeah.
But then you go to Falcone, and Falcone says the same shit.
Yeah.
If you have a criminal mind, you'll know that he's telling Bruce, like, yeah, your dad fucked up. I had to kill him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was that type shit. So once the full story was unfolded, I had no problem with it. Did I have a problem with Martha being psychotic? Not really, because
you don't really know a lot about Martha in the comics, do you?
Not really. Not really. I mean, you know about the same as Thomas Wayne. They were good people. They loved their child.
And what's bad about Martha just because her family got killed?
Well, the thing was with me. I mean, what they said that she was basically psychotic. She was in and out of Arkham.
Yeah,
she was in and out of Arkham.
Yeah.
And when I thought about it, I didn't have a problem with it. And the reason I say this is because if you dress up like a bat at night and beat the fuck out of people, you got mental issues. Where did that stem from?
You're right.
Solely not because of the murder, right?
You got it honest.
I'm just saying. So that's where I was like,
okay. Batman is kind of crazy.
He is a fucking nutjob. You know, so it runs in a family. You know.
Yeah. I thought you would have an issue initially, and
I did initially, but it was with Thomas. It wasn't with Martha. It was with that.
Yeah, exactly.
That he was involved in crime,
Yeah.
but it came to fruition that he really wasn't.
Yeah.
He thought that saving his wife and his legacy, you know, protecting his wife, going through the mob boss, which I don't know why that's a good idea, but whatever. Because the mob boss runs the city, I guess that's why.
But they had that interaction too where he saves his life.
Yes.
So maybe that's how it all intertwined. Be like, this shit's happening. Could you do something?
Well, that's what Falcone said.
Yeah, exactly.
Falcone brings that to light at the end of the movie, and I'm like, okay. And then what was cool at the end of the movie was when Catwoman was fucking Falcone up. She scratched his face like she did in the Long Halloween comic book. That's from that fucking shit, dude.
That's cool.
And she did it in his house, like she did it in the movie. I was like, yes!
That's
That was cool as fuck. Easter eggs like that, I was like, yeah, it's bad as fuck.
Nice. One thing that I didn't like, I felt like halfway through the movie, Riddler kind of disappears. Like he's so prevalent, and then there's a long stretch where he's just gone for a long time. And I was like, what the fuck happened here?
Well, they were still trying to find him, though.
Yeah, they were still trying to find him, but he was just gone. I just felt like that was weird. And I felt like I'm just nitpicking here, but I don't have a problem with the movie. It was excellent. And I needed more of those voiceovers. I thought those were excellent.
No, I agree. I would have loved to hear more voiceovers, too. Because at first I thought, when they did it in the beginning,
and they did it for a little bit.
They did it, and I was like, it's gonna go through the whole thing. And then they stopped like halfway through, and then they picked it back up at the end. At the end.
Exactly, just like how I felt with the Riddler, but I could have done with it through the whole movie. That'd have been cool.
Well, I'm
if
down
you would have been
with
telling the story like that the whole time.
Oh, I'm down with it.
Sweet.
Yeah,
that's how you make part 2 even better.
Yeah, even though you've already grossed like 500 some million. What do we know, right?
Oh shit! There was something else I wanted to bring up too. Oh. Did it trick you into thinking that Riddler knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman?
It did. But then I thought maybe he doesn't know. Because the way Batman looked at him, like...
Batman was like, fuck.
Well, at first he was like, fuck, but then he was like, does he know?
Exactly.
And then with that, when he kept going, like, then he didn't really react much, Riddler started going on and on some more. And that's what made me think that Riddler was just grasping. Just grasping at straws at that point.
But I was right there with Batman because I was right there with him. I was like, fuck, he knows it's fucking Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And he's looking at the cameras and shit like, fuck, he knows. And then it goes on. I'm like, no, he doesn't know. And then he says Bruce Wayne again. I was like, fuck, he knows. Yeah. And then I was like, no.
Yeah, I think in the end he doesn't know. I think in the end he was just I think he was baiting him to see, like, if he did react. And if he did react, he'd be like, I gotcha!
Gotcha!
Fucking knew it!
Because even on his wall, it kind of looked like he knew that Batman was Bruce Wayne.
But here's the thing, and this is just saying the intelligence of Gotham PD, they were looking at the same wall. And they were like, why has he got a picture of Bruce Wayne up here?
Right next to Batman.
What the fuck? They think that skinny punk is Batman?
But it also tied into the whole story.
And that's another thing, talking about crime scenes. Fucking when Batman and Catwoman snuck back into Riddler's hideout, and they were looking for the crime shit, and then the cops were there and like, shut up!
Yeah.
He's like, shut the fuck up!
Yeah, because they're in mid-fight, and he's like, no.
Yeah. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really cool.
Because he saved with their asses. Because he heard him. How did he hear him coming? He's probably got something in his ears.
Probably.
Because fucking Selena didn't know shit.
No,
and she was like, fuck!
But she was also taken over by emotion.
Yeah.
So she wasn't thinking straight.
That's true. And
but
he also went back again to the Riddler's hideout.
Zoe Kravitz is fucking Catwoman. Give me more. I thought she did an excellent job.
I thought she did a great job.
I thought she was cool as fuck in it.
I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, that was one thing that I thought was kind of corny, though. The end shot when they're riding bikes together.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, come on.
That was kind of corny. Yeah, that was kind of corny. I'll give him that.
But I was like, no, this is dumb. But it was also kind of... it was kind of like Goodbye Catwoman.
Yeah, because they went separate ways.
Yeah, they went separate ways.
Yeah.
So she might not show back up, but she might have her own movie.
She might. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I'm down with that.
I'd be down with that movie over.
Especially if it is in Bloodhaven.
Because that's Nightwing, right?
That's where Nightwing's at. But you can't have Nightwing if you don't have Robin.
You can't have. Do you think that Robin's going to show up in this trilogy?
I hope so.
I think he will.
I hope so.
Because they linger on kids so much in this.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that kid going to be Robin?
Yeah. I hope so. And if they do, I want it to be a kid.
Yeah, I want it to
be a fucking kid. I want it to be
at least a teenager.
Yeah,
you know?
I want to be a kid. I want to be 13, 14 years old. Fucking, that's what I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I really want to see a Robin in a movie. Because we only got Kirsten O'Donnell.
And he was like middle-aged Robin.
By the time he did it. But it was still like, cool, Robin!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, because he looked cool.
He did look cool.
You know?
But I would be down for a Robin in this if they did it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they can do it. They're so straying away from kids. And
and
Kick-Ass did it, and I think they can do it too.
I think so, and that's a good example of why they can do it, because Kick-Ass is nothing but kids.
Exactly.
As vicious as fuck.
Exactly.
Right?
And this won't even be that, because once
It won't even be
Kick-Ass
that vicious.
are,
Huh?
I feel like Kick-Ass
Kick-Asses are.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of those were.
And these are going to be PG-13.
I mean, to me, the greatest way to do Robin has already been done, but they need to duplicate it for live action. And it's been done on the cartoon The Batman that came out in like mid-2000s.
Okay, yeah, that's a great series.
Great series. And when they introduced Robin in it had like a 3-part introduction, origin story of him. That is how they should do Robin. It was so good. He was a kid. He got killed. I mean, his parents got killed by Maroni and shit, and fucking Zuko, Tony Zuko. My bad. Maroni is Two-Face. Tony. I get all these crime bosses mixed up, guys. All these Italians, fucking. So if they did it like that, so go back and watch The Batman. It's like season 2 or 3, and it has Robin. Animated series. I'm telling you, it's bad as fuck. And if they did it like that, that's what I want to see. I want to see a young Robin. I don't want to see some 20-year-old Robin. Yeah. I want to see a young Robin.
I want to see the origin of Robin on the screen.
Yes.
Not like the old one. Because we saw the origin Robin back then.
Yeah.
But like you said, he was old.
He was old.
He was too old to be Robin.
Yeah, because it's like I'm past 18. Why am I a ward?
And I think that would be a cool, like maybe if it was in the part 2. That would be a cool dynamic, him trying to figure out what the fuck to do with this kid and him and doing.
Yeah, it would be cool because he doesn't even know what to do with himself.
Exactly, and now he's got the kid and Alfred. And
he'd just be like this, Robin.
Yep. Oh shit! We would probably talk about the Batman all night.
Probably, but I think we did pretty good on where my qualms. All I know is if you came to look for criticism. Look somewhere else.
Yeah, because
you ain't getting it here.
And if you haven't seen it, go fucking watch it.
And again, spoilers. We just spoiled the fuck out of it. But even with spoiling it, we still didn't do justice.
No.
It's not the dawn of justice.
If you watch this and then go, you'll still love it.
You'll fucking love it. But nobody's watching anyway, so whatever. Anyways.
Exactly.
So this was another episode of Drunk Under the Sun. You know what it is. That podcast is about anything and everything under the sun. And this time it was under the bat symbol.
Yeah. Yep.
So peace, y'all.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Drunk Under the Sun. This is Joe and Tom.
Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody. Like and subscribe.
Thank you all for subscribing and liking. From Drunk Under the Sun, the podcast about everything and anything under the sun. So check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and Instagram. We're posting new shit every week.
See ya.